This is a solution of quiz 2 version E. So first question, which of the matrices is singular? Okay, you can check part D. Okay, you should notice that there are two similar columns. The first and second columns are identical. Right? So let's call this matrix A. Determinant of this matrix is 0. Okay, because you have two identical columns. Okay. Right. If you have two identical rows or columns, the determinant is 0. Or you can also prove that. Okay, let's choose this row. So the determinant is 0 times this determinant plus 0 times this determinant, which are all zeros, right? And finally, plus EX times this thing's determinant. Right. This determinant is this times this minus this times this. So this times this is 1 minus this times this is 1. Okay, so it's 0. Right. Determinant is 0 if and only if the matrix is singular. Okay. Okay. Part B. So X is what? First, when X is approaching 1, this is 1, this is 1, so it's 0 over 0. Right. Then what is X? X is x1 over 3 to the power of 3. Right. So one is 1 to the power of 3. Then a cubed minus b cubed, it is a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So this part is right, it's a minus b times a squared, so a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay, you can see these two cancel out. Then here you can sub in, right? You can sub in. So this part is 1, this part is 1. So the final answer is 1 over 3. Okay. Part C. Fx is absolute value to the power of 5. Right? You can also write it as it's x to the power of 5 when x is positive. When x is negative, it's negative x. Right? Then this part is negative x to the power of 5 when x is smaller or equal to 0. Okay. Then fx derivative is just this thing's derivative, right? So it is 5x to the power of 4. When x is greater than 0, it's negative 5 to the x to the power of 4 when x is smaller or equal to 0. Okay. So you can also write it as right 5x to the power of 4. It's also 5x cubed times x. Right? This is also 5x cubed times negative x. So it's x when it's positive, it's negative x when it's smaller or equal to 0. So it is 5x cubed times absolute value of x. Or you can also write it as 5x. Or you can also write it as 5x times absolute value of x cubed. Okay, because this, you can also write it as like 5 negative x to the power of 3 times x, right? This is also 5, sorry, here it's 5 positive x to the power of 3 times x. Right, here it's negative 3x to the power of 3 times x. Right, so you combine these two, you also get this one. Right, so both of them are correct, and you see part B is like this, right? So you choose B. Okay. Problem 4. Right, let's first just consider this limit. Right, this limit, you just divide by e to the power of x on both sides. Right, you divide by e to the power of x on both sides. Then this is approaching 0. This is approaching 0, right? So it is 0. Okay. Then this limit, okay, then this whole thing, right? Then this whole thing times sine x, it's smaller or equal to, right? Because this thing times sine x, right? It's smaller or equal to this thing times 1. It's greater or equal to this thing times negative 1. Okay? And both sides, right? This part, the limit is 0. This part, the limit is also 0. Okay? So by squeeze theorem, this limit is 0 as well. Okay? So this is your answer. Problem 5. Okay, problem 5. So x has to be as fx is continuous if and only if the limit of fx. So we can see when x is strictly greater than 1, this is continuous. When it's strictly smaller than 1, this is continuous. So the only problem is when x equals 1, right? So we only need to care is fx continuous at point 1. So it's continuous at point 1 if and only if the limit of x when x is approaching 1 equals f1. Right. So what is f1? Right. Limit of fx exists if and only if, right, this thing exists if and only if the limit from the left equals the limit from the right. Right. What is the limit from the left? It's the limit, right, when x is smaller than 1, it's x squared plus a over x. Then this is 1 plus a, right? What is the limit from the right? Is the limit square root of x, e to the power of x minus 1. Right, then you can just sub in square root of 1 times e to the power of 1 minus 1. It's just 1. So 1 plus a must equals 1. So a is 0. Okay. Problem 6. Your x is approaching 9. So your gx, sorry, your square root of x is approaching 3. Right. Then your g something approaching 3. Right. And this part is approaching 3. So you check on the graph, g3 is 4. Right? So your g square root of x is approaching 4. Then f g square root of x, because this whole thing, right, because this part is approaching 4, right? Then f4 is 8, right? So this whole thing is approaching 8. Okay, so this is your answer, 8.